Hi everyone, good evening. Can you hear me? Can anybody hear me? Can anybody hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I turned off everyone's mics before this. Okay, yeah, so hi everyone, good evening, or whatever time it is, wherever you're at. My name is Teju and I'm founder of Wakaru. Wakaru is an online community / platform that shares information about jobs, internships, career advice, things like that. It's pretty much everything that we think people would find useful, like at different stages of their career journey. We have a Twitter page, an Instagram page. We also have a Medium page where we share articles from people who are in different fields and doing different things that we think that people can learn from. We started this webinar series in April. We took a break in May and then now we're back. And it was pretty much like the points behind it was pretty much the same thing as everything that we do, just a place where people who have figured some things out. I mean, nobody has everything figured out, but people who have figured certain things out in their own journey just share with other people. And we have one on starting careers in tech without learning to code. We have one on job hunting, on acing your first 6 months at work, on Excel, writing and researching, different things like that. All of them are on our YouTube channel. The name of the YouTube channel is Wakaru. So you can just check, actually, Wakaru on everything, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Medium, on YouTube. You can follow us on any of those places or watch all of our previous webinars on YouTube. So during this session, please share whatever it is that you're learning on Twitter with us. You can tag us and use the hashtag Wakaru webinar so we can see what you're learning and then share with everyone as well. Yeah, so hi Dami, thank you very much for joining us. Sorry, I have to unmute you manually. 1 second.
Hello?
Yeah,
Sweet.
hi Dami.
Hi, how are
Thank
you?
you so much for doing this. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. I'm like really excited about this because I mean, like with everything that's going on, it's like sometimes people just study things and I mean, you're out of school and it's just like, what am I doing in my life? I mean, do I really want to be a geologist or do I really want to, I don't know, do I really want to be an accountant and things like that? And it's just very, can you hear me? Sorry.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, yeah. And it's just really important to figure out how to make switches when you want to. And even if it's like you're further down in your career and you just realize that, see, this banking thing I'm doing is not really my calling in life. And you just want to switch and things like that. So thank you so much for sharing with us. Thank you so much for doing this. I'm just going to start. I'm just going to leave you now to get started. Okay. I think while Dami gets back, we're just going to wait for Dami. Oh, okay. 1 second.
Okay, sweet. Sorry about that. Okay, thank you for having me. I'm pretty excited. I'm just gonna share my screen real. Oh, can I get permissions to share screen? Said you can't hear me.
You have permission now. You have permission now.
Oh, sweet. Thank you so much. Ooh, which is the right one? Sure. Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes.
I have faith that you can.
Yes, we can.
Amazing. So I kind of first of all, thanks for having me. This is really exciting for me. I as a serial career pivoter, it's really interesting for me. I'm really excited, honestly, to share what I have learned making different switches through the span of my career journey. It hasn't been that long, but it's been a while, and I've jumped around a lot, right? So yeah, like I'm like, yeah, I'm sure you're like, yeah, who's this guy that's looking to me and everything? And I'm like, I don't know, man. And my name is Dami. Dami, Oludumila. People call me Dooms for a lot of different reasons. And as I said earlier on, I'm a professional career pivoter. So a little bit about me. I actually started out in economics. And while I was doing my economics program, I started exploring, right? And so in the span of about 6 to 7 years, I had explored about 5 to 7 different career paths. I went from cinematography to sales to operations management, to customer service, to data analysis, to product management, and then eventually I ended up or I settled with UX design, right? Oh, and I also learned to. There was a time there that I kind of learned to code too. So I learned to code. That was during my data analysis phase, and so I was teaching kids to code at some point. So that was the thing too. So I've kind of been everywhere, and I actually have jobs. I've actually like held jobs, actual roles in these places, in like each of these fields, as proof, right? And I just stuck with design about roughly 3 years ago. Um, and I decided to kind of confine my pivots within the field of design. There's a lot of things within design that I can just be jumping around to. So I kind of decided to just kind of stay there, at least for now. Um, but yeah, so I'm really young. I don't really have that many years of experience. But I kind of just wanted to share my own journey with you guys, right? And I hope that there's something that like you can take out from this, or something that you have to learn from this, right? So yeah, I'm like, yeah, cool stuff, dude. This is some really interesting stuff. Thanks for telling me about yourself and all this stuff. I'm really interested in that. That's amazing. Um, and I'm sure you're wondering, like, yo, can we can we start talking about switching lanes? Yeah, we can. But before we do, there's something that I need to address first, right? So when you're making career pivots, right, the formula is strength plus passion, right? These two things are very, very important, right? And there are a couple of questions that I got during like when people that filled out the form, I got a couple of questions, and I would I'll answer some of them. I'll answer them like ones that I can answer. But I kind of I originally did not include this slide, but I thought it was important because with the questions I saw, it seemed like people were not really sure like how to they were not really sure that they were making the right decision. Right, share with you guys. People need to ask yourself if the role aligns with your strengths. Like, you know, we're talking about, yeah, yes, and you need to like if you have passion, that's great. Like can do anything with passion, and that's true. But it's possible for you to be passionate about something that is not your strong point, right? I'm passionate about. I'm not passionate about. I'm passionate about a lot of things. I'm passionate about food. Doesn't mean I'm passionate about maybe Thai food. Doesn't mean I can cook Thai food. Doesn't mean I'm good. I'm a good Thai food chef or Thai chef. It just means that I like to eat it, right? So don't confuse. Don't make decisions based off of your passion alone, right? Passion is not enough. Please don't run into new career paths based on passion. Passion, you have not helped anybody. Like, let's be guided, right? So you kind of need to assess your strengths. You need to ask yourself, does this path align with my strengths? Do I have what it takes to grow in this role and do amazing work, right? If you're moving to accounting, you need to ask yourself, am I good with numbers? Am I good with monotonous tasks? Because with accounting, there's this like so you need to ask yourself, am I good with these kind of things, right? Am I okay doing the same thing over and over and over again, right? Because you can be passionate about accounting, but then you have a lot of ginger. But when it's time to do the work, it's like, me, I'm not good with numbers. Then why are you doing here, right? Why are you doing here? Like, what are you looking for, right? So you go into the field, you can still go into that career path. But I mean, why would you want to stress yourself? There are a lot of other things that you could be doing, right? Because if you go into a career path where one of these two things are missing, if you go into a career path where one of these two things are missing, you have yourself to blame for it, right? because you're going to have to put in more work than the average person, right? See, so I mean, for me, it doesn't make any sense, and this is why I say so. If you're working in the field where like you have to learn, like you're not, it's not natural, it's not innate, and so you have to put in a lot of hours into learning the entire thing. Like you have to put in more work. You have to really apply yourself more than every other person. I mean, you can be successful there, what but, but it will be even better if you carry those like use your skills, like the skills that you have to where you're strong, to be able to something natural to get good work done, right? So imagine if something you're already good at something, imagine if you now put in more hours than the average person, right? At something that you're already good at. Like that's how you succeed. That's how people will see you and be like, oh my god, man, this guy is so good. This guy knows his stuff. This guy is like, but they don't know that they don't know that it's first of all, it's something that you're naturally good at, something that you are naturally good at, and then you actually spend extra time developing yourself and kind of applying yourself in that field, right? So please, strength plus passion. It's very important. You need to, before making any decision, don't make decisions based off of trends, right? That's something that I see. People would see, I don't know, maybe software engineering or UX design. Those are the things that are reigning now, and you just kind of see and then just kind of run into it. That's big like mob mentality. It's not going to take you anywhere. Like you can't be making life decisions based off of trends. Trends are fickle. Trends will change, right? You need to make sure that this is something that something that you can at least commit to. Like you don't know the future. Like you obviously can't say I'll commit to this thing for 20 years. Some people can. Me, I can't, right? Because I like to jump around a lot. But just make sure that you can at least commit to it part time and you can apply yourself to that, right? That if something new comes out, that if something new comes in, maybe you just jump into that new thing, right? That you actually care, right? That's where passion, I think that's the part of passion that people don't talk about. Talk about, yeah, like what do you do that makes you happy? What do you do that makes you happy? But also, do you care about it? You can do something can make you happy, but you may not really care about that thing, right? A random person can make you laugh, right? I don't know. Basket Mouth is a good comedian, or Kevin Hart is a good comedian, and they make me laugh a lot. But I don't particularly care about them, right? I appreciate the happiness that they bring, but I don't really care personally, right? So please don't quit your job and go into a UX boot camp, right? Because that's what's raining now. That's what's making money now, right? I mean, some people can do. Some people are like, it works for some people, but on the long run, man, it's just a lot of there's a lot of things, man. You need to make sure that, man, this is something that you can actually do in the long run. This is something that you're actually strong about. Your strength actually lies in. This is something that you're actually passionate about, right? And you care about it, right? So please don't make long-term decisions based on trend. So now we can move to like career pivots. But before I actually talk about that, so I like to segue a lot. I just want you to know that whatever your reason for switching lanes is, outside trend, right? Outside it being trendy or nice or funky or like that's what's making money now, all those fun. Even because even if it's for money, just make sure you're good at it, right? Like you don't have to. Some people are not. They don't really care about some things, but they're naturally good at it, right? So if you're going to something for money, at least just make sure that you're good at it. You're not killing yourself over it, right? So so yeah, whatever your reason for switching is, it's valid, right? If it's because of like you want more access to opportunities, or you actually are passionate about it or you care about it, if it's because of money, if it's because of your family, whatever it is, it's valid, right? Don't maybe people think that, because some people don't really particularly care about changing the world and switching things up and making a change, and that's okay. Like you don't always have to care about making a change, right? Just like doing good work, right? And make sure that you're just kind of in a role that aligns with your strengths. That's all that matters, right? That's all that matters, right? Please don't let anybody ever make you think that you're stupid for switching lanes or wanting to do that, right? I had a lot of people tell me that I was making a very big mistake when I left economics for technology. And I second guessed myself a lot. I went to the fields. I thought I was going to die a failure. The time that I was just like, the time that I was just like depressed, like the time I almost ran back to economics. There were a lot of hard times, right? So there were a lot of times I felt foolish. But I just felt foolish. I was like, guy, like you made a very, very stupid decision because I was very good at economics. Like, why I didn't have to leave? Right? Why did I leave? Like, there was no reason for me to leave, right? And but I mean, irrespective of all those things, right? I was still able to push through, right? I was able to just push through. I'll just keep moving and keep moving and keep moving. And there was a lot of pain, there was a lot of stress, there's a lot of sacrifice, there's a lot of hard work, right? But I'll tell you that it's going to be worth it in the end, right? All this stress, all this madness is going to be worth it. So don't be so quick to give up. Yeah. So as I just kind of stated like a minute ago, switching lanes is hard work. Like it's very hard work, right? There's some days that you feel like, man, this thing is not entering my head. Some days that you feel like you're making progress, then one day will just come and just destroy everything. I just like, guy, like maybe somebody ask you one question, I just be like, man, I don't know. And it's like, man, I've been actually reading, I've been doing the work, I've been maybe attending some boot camps and attending some classes, and I still can't answer this basic question, right? Like, there are days like that, right? And it's even harder when you're learning by yourself. When you're self-taught, it's so much harder, right? I personally, at some point, went to school for design, but I can tell you that 60% of the things that I do right now, 60% of the things I do right now, I had to learn myself, and it was hard. It was hard. Like I don't know how people are like 100% self-taught. I don't know how they do it because it was madness. Like I had to go to school at some point and just like somebody needs to help me because I don't even know what's going on here, right? And it's very overwhelming. It's very, very tiring, right? But the thing that would make it easier, somewhat easier, is if you know yourself, right? You need to know and this is going back to the strength plus passion. Please know who you are, know what your strengths are, know what your weaknesses are. So I'll tell you a story. So when I made a pivot to sales, I had no idea what it was going to be like. I had no idea, like I had no idea what it was. I honestly I had absolutely no idea was what I was going in for. Right. Um, and after working in sales for 2 months, I quit because it wasn't for me. I was just like, what's happening here? Like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what everyone like. They were words. I needed them to. They were always like, so people were always warming up to me. They were always like, they loved having me around, and they would always love talking to me. But they won't open their wallets. So I'm like, please, can you open up your wallet? I need this bonus. I need this, right? But they went open and it was just a me thing. I just wasn't good at persuading people, right? I wasn't good at selling things to people, right? And that time, those 2 months, I read books. I talked to the top salespeople in that company. I read books. I did everything possible, right? But like at some point, I was just like, man, I can't come and kill myself. This thing is not my strong suit. What am I doing here? And I just left. Like I up and I just left, right? I left and I started looking for the next thing, right? And I seriously stressed myself in that period. And that's something that could have been avoided. It could have been really, really, it could have been avoided big time just if I had just spent time. Like if I had really known what my strengths were and if I had really understood what the role required me to do and if I had really understood if I'd taken time to really check for an alignment to see if there was any form of alignment, right? Um, yeah. Honestly, I don't know if that story really drove the point home, but the summary is that yeah, like it's going to be hard, right? It's going to be really hard, and it's going to require you to do a lot of things, sacrifice a lot of things, right? But again, as I said earlier on, it's going to be worth it. Yeah. So that takes me to my next point. Switching lanes is very, very, very risky, right? But I'm sure you already know that, right? So I'm not a risk taker, like at all, like at all. So when I was in high school and when I was even in undergrad, they would always all those entrepreneurship and motivational speakers would come and they would talk about like, yo, man, take risk, man, do this. Like people that are making it big, they're risk takers. Can you see Steve Jobs? Like, can you see I don't know, Bill Gates? Can you see Zuckerberg? Like they're making it big. Yeah, that's how I was for Facebook. That was Facebook time when Facebook was really winning. It was like, yeah, Mark just took a risk. He just like went all in. And I was just like, it's like I'm not gonna make it in this world because like I don't like taking risks, right? I felt like I was set up for failure. I felt like God set me up. I feel like God set me up because it wasn't making any sense, right? But it was later on that I actually realized that I was taking risks, right? So yeah, I was taking risks, right? But they were just strategic risks. They were calculated risks. That's what people never talk to you about, right? And the crazy thing with switching lanes is that there's absolutely no assurance that you'll be successful, right? There's no assurance that moving to a new field, like you succeed in that field and you'll be amazing. So just kind of have that in mind. That just remember, I know you probably have that in mind, but risks can also be calculated. Risk can be calculated and strategic, right? Fine, obviously. You can't account for every single risk. Like that's a given. We've been new. But you also can't leave everything to chance, right? Um, People made risk taking seem like it was this very dramatic and crazy thing. Like, oh man, like you have to, I don't know, aspire to perspire and just like when you see the pool of sharks, you just jump in. You don't think, you just do. And I'm just like, me, I don't know how to think, not think, because my brain is here for a reason, right? I'm not really sure how I'm supposed to do that, right? It was just a lot of grab. I remember seeing quotes like, take risk or lose the chance. If you risk nothing, then you risk everything. If you want it, go for it. Take a risk. Don't play it safe or you will die wondering. Like this very aggressive quote. I just like, man, I just like hold my chair and be like, guy, man, it's some really, really tough stuff, man. You see how dramatic, if you don't take risk, you will have a wasted soul. Like, I don't want my soul to be wasted. But like, I don't really know how to take risks, right? So these are really, really dramatic things. And they made it sound so dramatic, like you have to just jump in and then you just find the risk and just be like, man, this is the risk. I want to take it. Man. I'm laughing. It's funny because I went through this entire season in my life where I felt like I was set up to fail in life, right? And so what you would notice is that people with these half-baked quotes would move. They would move. Um, they would move and they would just kind of not think. They won't think twice before like calculating stuff and checking stuff out and checking if stuff balance. They just be moving, just be jumping, and then they'll crash and they'll be like, how did I crash? But I took a risk. Well, like, which brings me to my next point. So I'm really enjoying this presentation. Switching lanes doesn't have to be a hazard, right? And what do I mean by that? You do your homework. You can take calculated risk in switching lane. And see, the fact that you take calculated risk doesn't mean that you succeed, but there's a higher chance of success and a lower chance of failure, and that's the chance that you want to take, right? And this is the simplest reason. It's the simplest reason for this is doing your homework, right? So do your homework, check like, okay, what are the skills that are required for this role? What are some things I have? What can I lift from my past knowledge? What knowledge from my past experiences and maybe from my education, like and all that, can I lift into this field? What will make me stand out? How can I make myself better? Like, excuse me, those are all the things that you have to be thinking about. Like, okay, can't just say, okay, man, UX design looks lit. People are making money. I like how they're always showing like shiny prototypes and wireframes. Let me just jump in and do UX design. Like, you don't do that. That's not and for me, I mean, I feel like that's not a risk, right? That's something that I would never do, right? The chances of failure is just too high because I don't know if it's my strong. I don't know if there are things that if I can learn those things with ease, right? I don't know if it matches like my goals. I don't know, like all those things. Those are things that you have to think about, right? And I mean, the easiest analogy for you to understand is doing your homework thing is like when we were in school, when we were kids, I don't know, primary school, high school, whatever it is. I personally noticed that the more that I did my assignments, the more I did my homework in a topic, the better I did in the exams, the more I knew about the topic, right? And why did that happen? It happened because I did my homework, right? You do your homework. When I was thinking of switching from economics to tech, actually, I've been talking about switching to tech since 2014 or 2013. No, even 2013, 2014. I've been talking about switching to tech since 2013, 2014. But I never made the move I didn't make the complete move to 2017, right? Like I would always talk to people about it and everything, but like I didn't just jump, right? I was reading up stuff, right? And I'm not saying take that long, right? Yeah, I explored other career paths in that, and I'll walk you through, right, my career, like how I kind of went about that, right? But I spent that time reading stuff. I spent that time figuring out how to code. I spent that time figuring out what, like, I don't know, some of the skills that could make me better. I spent that time like reading up about tech and the tech scene and the product scene and all those funky things, right? I spent a lot of time, invested a lot of time understanding that space, right? Or to some extent, is understanding what's going on in that space. I remember in 2016, I spent most of my entire 2016 summer attending a lot of tech conferences with some of my friends. Um, we would sneak into like some tech expos and tech conferences. Okay, we didn't really sneak into them, but we would go into those conferences. We'll talk to founders, we'll talk to startup owners, we'll have people like that are doing exhibitions, we'll talk to them. So I kind of was getting a sense of what the space was like. I didn't just say, oh man, tech looks shiny, let me jump into it. Right. Maybe I could have succeeded doing that. But I like the route that I went. The route that I went allowed me to experience different things. It allowed me to experience a lot of interesting and different things, right? And I mean that's good enough for me, right? Which takes me to the second point. You can ease into it, right? You don't have to jump in cold turkey. So making career pivots doesn't have to be dramatic. I mean, it can be dramatic, but it doesn't have to be, right? In 2016 and 2017, I said I was thinking of moving to tech in 2013. 2016 and 2017, I was trying to figure out how to do economics and tech together. So I was working in like operations and supply chain. Like I was trying to figure out like that intersection and figure out like how to kind of just ease into tech and everything, right? So I was working in operations and supply chain, and I did customer. I mean, I made working hands-on with a lot of different softwares and all those funky things, right? So I was just kind of easing it slowly, right? And then I was working also on some tech gigs with some friends, right? So we're just kind of moving slowly and slowly, right? Right. Like I always knew, I mean, it was in my second year in 2013 or something that I knew that you meant like I wasn't going to do economics full time, right? So I started spending time figuring out ways that I could mix economics, and technology, right? So as I earlier stated, I started learning to code. I took data analysis seriously. So in economics, they taught us data analysis, and I took it I took it to heart because it was like, okay, this is something in tech that I could possibly do too. And that time, data analysis wasn't really a thing yet, like that. Like people, I never met a data analyst, right? But I was like, okay, this is something that I saw online that some people were doing. So I'm like, okay, so I think this is part of tech. This could possibly work. And I took it very, very seriously. 2016, 2017, I didn't joke with data analysis until I actually got a job as a data analyst, right? And I worked with some researchers for a while, right? And then with the softwares that I learned during the softwares that I learned to do data analysis with, I eventually started learning like Python and R and all those funky stuff. And then I eased into HTML, CSS, all those very basic stuff. And then after that, I now started teaching kids to code, right? Because for me, teaching is like the easiest way to know something, right? And I wanted to see if I could go that path of developer because most of my friends were developers. So I thought, okay, if I want to really succeed in this, like maybe I should focus on being a developer, right? But developing wasn't for me. It wasn't for me, right? So yeah, tiny steps, right? When I realized that, man, I don't think I can do the software engineering route. Okay, what are some of the other things in tech that I could do? And I started searching for tech degrees, like tech-related master's degrees. And I kind of just went everywhere, and I eventually found this program that was open to, like, it was a tech program, but I didn't have a tech undergrad background. So I had to kind of sell myself to this school and be like, guy, like, take me. I know what I'm talking about. Please just take a chance, take risk on me and succeed, right? And I had to show them a lot of things and explain to them why, like, I was a good fit for the program. And they eventually, after blood, sweat, and tears, they eventually picked me. And that's how I actually now started learning more about the technology side of things, right? So I leveraged those experiences that I had working in supply chain, because I was working in supply chain and in supply chain and in customer service. I was working with some tech companies, right? So I had leveraged that knowledge that I had gotten from there, and also from the tech gigs that I was working on with my friends, and also the coding that I did. I was learning to teach myself to do, right? All those things. I kind of just gathered everything together and just showed them that, yo, please, like, let's see if I can do something here and figure out what path I could go, right? And I'll talk about the reason why. I'll talk about the reason why I went back to school in a minute. But yeah, so I kind of went back, and then I started, like, exploring that space, got back into data analysis for a bit, and then started easing into business analysis and then product management. The switch from business analysis to product management was almost like nothing, right? Because for some companies it's almost the same roles, for some companies they're different roles. It's really weird. Oh yeah, it was after becoming a PM that I said, you know what, I think I'm going to stick with UX, right? And I've been doing UX stuff, like, since 2017, like, full time, like, since 2017, right? And yeah, like, I wasn't really sure I was going to be a UX designer even then, right? I was still experimenting. I still worked in product management role in 2018, because I was still trying to figure out, like, yo, is this UX thing for me? Is it not for me? And all those funky things, right? So I wasn't just jumping. I wasn't just like, okay, man, this looks lit. Let's jump inside it. Oh, this looks funky. Let's jump inside it. I was always thinking, okay, like, what role allows me to take the experience that I have, like, from my past roles, and allows me to learn new things, right? So I mean, that was the midpoint for me, figuring out how I could use the past knowledge I had, and how I could also learn new things where I was going to be, right? So I mean, that was my path, right? But everyone has a different path. So please, like, find your own path, right? Pivots, they don't have to be dramatic. Just take your time prepping, take your time understanding the space, take your time learning the basics. I'll talk about that very soon. Take your time learning the basics, because people just, like, tend to just jump into things. They don't want to take time to really understand the space. They don't want to take time to do all the hard work, right? And those things, it doesn't work. It's not going to help you, right? So please, please, please. The third thing is control what you can. Control your controllables. Don't leave everything to chance. It's a general life rule. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can't control, but there are a lot of things that you can also control. Like, you can't control where you were born. You can't control where you were born. You can't control, like, the country you were born into. Trust me, you can't control it. But there are a lot of things that you can also control, right? So you need to figure out, like, what are some of the things that I can control, and kind of figure out what those things you can control are, and figure out how you can manipulate them to fit your goals, right? A lot of I mean it all goes back to counting your cost, counting the cost, counting your assets, right? What are some of the tangible assets you have? Maybe money, maybe your degree, I don't know. What are some of the intangible assets you have? Maybe you're strong-willed. Maybe you're very good at learning for yourself. It's like, sit down and do this math, right? Okay, so this is what I have. These are the things that I physically have. These are the things that I have, like, I don't know, mentally or intangibly, right? Okay, so what can I do with these things that I have? What career path can I explore with these things that I have? Adding your passion to it, like, things that you care about, things that are important to you, things that excite you, right? So it's calculated. Like, please don't be jumping. If there's nothing that you've heard today, this is the only thing that you get from this entire talk, please don't jump. Like, this taking is not about jumping, right? You can make calculated and strategic risks. Please don't just be jumping up and down, right? There's something in tech. There's something that we do in tech when we're rolling out new software, right? We don't completely use the old We don't completely replace the old one with the new one. We run them at the same time, so they're running concurrently, right? And we're encouraging people to switch from the old to the new, right? Slowly, 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 until we phase out the old technology, right? Because we want them to feel like they have control over what's happening, right? So that you can also apply that to your career, right? Don't just, I mean, it works for different people. So this is the thing about this entire thing, right? Some people, some crazy things work for them, right? But this is like what particularly has worked for me, right? Don't just like jump from one career path to the other. It's like, okay, maybe I don't know, you're doing customer service now, right? You've not spent time counting the cost. You've not spent time understanding the basics. You've not spent time doing anything. You just quit your job and just set out to become a UX designer. Like, there's no sense in that, right? You're going to get frustrated. You're going to be wondering why it's not working, right? It's not working because you didn't do the work, right? It's not working because you didn't do the work. You have to relax, right? I mean, I know what it I know what it feels like to stay in a job that you hate, right? But I would advise you to accept it's very, very bad. Don't just jump from, okay, I hate this job, I want to, and there are jobs in two different career paths, right? You just say, okay, like I hate the CSM job or this customer service rep job. I want to just jump into design. Like, you need to work, do both concurrently, right? Continue with your customer service job, but also spend some time understanding the space, spend some time understanding the design space. Talk to some other people that are good in the space, people that have been there a long time. Ask for advice. Take some courses online. Start doing it slowly and slowly and slowly and slowly and slowly. It's eventually get to a point where you have to leave your old job, like you have to leave your customer service job. But don't just do it right away. It's like, okay, I think I know what I want to do. I want to do UX, right? And you have no background, you have no money, you have nothing, and you're just like, because you think to make a very good success story, to make you more glamorous, success story more glamorous. You know, people like to do like stuff ahead Olympics, right? So it's like, yeah, so you can say that, oh, I came from nothing. I slept on the couch, my mom's couch, and I had nothing. Those days where we like, I mean, those stories are cool and everything, but if you don't have to put yourself there, if you don't have to be there, if it's within your control, please don't put yourself there. Those things are unnecessary. You don't need to do all those crazy dramatic things to succeed, right? But again, this is just a suggestion. Because what I've noticed is that some people do those kind of things. They have to the new career path better and quicker, and they have more like that work. If that works for you, that's absolutely okay, right? But for what I've is have some things in place. Don't just jump, right? Because if you can't say, oh, it's doomed that said I should just jump. Like, nobody will even believe you, because that's not even the way I think or the way I act, right? So please be very, very careful with that, right? So I'm a designer. I love case studies. I like to write. I hate case studies. Sorry, I hate to write case studies, but I love reading case studies. So let's talk about Steve Wozniak, right? So some background to this entire thing. Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. Steve Jobs is like this guy here, and Steve Wozniak is like this guy here. They're both the co-founders of Apple, right? Steve Wozniak was the brain behind Apple. Like, he was responsible for the engineering, he was responsible for everything, every important bit of the technology, right? So when they created Apple, Steve Wozniak was still working at HP, and he loved it at HP. Like, when you hear Steve talk about HP, it was like, man, he was just so amazing. Like, he was so comfortable there, right? And it was really amazing when Steve Wozniak created the first Apple One computer. He was begging, like he begged his bosses at HP to build the computer, like to because he just wanted to be there. Like, he didn't even care if they were going to take his money, take like the patents about for the technology. He didn't care. He was like, I just want to stay here. Right? He was very, very comfortable there. Right? He liked it there because he's not a risk taker like me. He's like, we're both not risk takers. So it was cool there. Like, yeah, I don't want so much, right? And but then, like, they rejected him, obviously, right? And then when Steve Jobs eventually heard and he eventually saw the Apple One computers, he wanted, like, he kind of encouraged Steve to like start actually building them, right? So they built like some units, they made some money, right? They were doing pretty okay. It wasn't too much money, but it was a good start, right? It was a good start for something that was a side project. But Steve still refused to leave HP, right? Um, yeah, he still refused to leave HP because he didn't want to risk his financial stability and comfort, and he didn't want to go to a life of necessity, right? So Steve Jobs actually had to call Steve Wozniak's family members, talk to all of them, persuade Steve Wozniak to leave HP and actually come and do something at Apple. Imagine if he hadn't left, right? Imagine if he had stayed there, right? So I mean, the entire background, I mean, the entire point of this case study is this, right? Most of the important people that actually were successful, um, they were not risk takers, right? Steve put some stuff in place. Steve Wozniak had to put some stuff in place before he left HP. Like he had to. Steve Jobs had to convince him that this thing was going to be a success. Fine, there was still some level of risk to it, right? But he didn't just because they made one success now say, okay, we made this one successful thing. Let me leave my entire job and jump to this entire thing and just start creating this entire thing, right? So there's a level of calculated risk in this story, right? I don't know, you can go back and check the story, read it for yourself. But there was a lot of things that Steve Wozniak did before he made the move to actually leave his job and started Apple, right? So don't be so quick. Don't be so quick to don't be so quick to sorry, I just kind of got distracted. Don't be so quick to leave your current stability to go to something crazy, right? And you would eventually have to leave, and there's going to be some uncertainty in that space, but try and mitigate it best of your abilities, right? It would have been really crazy if Steve Wozniak had just left because he had this crazy cool idea, this cool product like he built himself. It would have been crazy if he had just left HP without even before they created the computer, because yeah, like he knew he was going to be successful because he was intelligent, right? He obviously knew it was going to work, right? That would have been very, very foolish of him. He had to wait till the Apple One was created, till they sold a couple of pieces. So people wanted he felt like there's some things that he could change that could make it better. Until the things started looking up, till the market started looking up. That was when he eventually decided to make the move, right? So yeah, so people don't know that with risk taking, there's a trick to it, right? The trick is to find your environment, right? I'm sure you're like, man, what does find the place or it could be a location, it could be a condition, whatever it is, where you can be your best self and work at a high efficiency unprovoked. For me, my environment is an educational institution, right? So I actually did not, until I was sure what I wanted to do with my career, I didn't leave school, right? I went back to back, right after undergrad, because I wasn't sure what I was going to do. Right after undergrad, I went for a master's, kind of dropped out of that master's, went to another master's, like, and I was at the second master's degree that I figured out what I wanted to do. And if I hadn't figured it out, I was going to do it, another master's or do a PhD, right? I know that's a privilege, right? I mean, that was a privilege that I personally had, right? But also, like, it also wasn't cheap. It wasn't easy. Convincing, like, it wasn't easy, trust me, right? There was a lot of things that I personally had to sacrifice for it, right? But I found my environment. I figured that for me, the school environment was a great place, right? So it was a great place for learning. It was a conducive place for learning. And when we talk about learning, we tend to focus more on like education and formal learning and all that. But there's more to it, right? The school environment was great for formal education, but it was also a conducive place for me personally to learn more about myself as a person, right? To explore my strengths, my weaknesses, and my interests, right? And I actually did some of that unknowingly. Like I was part of a media team, right? Like doesn't sound like anything serious, but that was one of the things that actually spurred my interest or that made me actually go into that cinematography and photography route. Where I worked in the studio for a while. I worked in the studio in school and outside school, right? I worked in the studio I did like some internship at some studio, and I was like, okay, is this something that I could possibly do? If I realized that, man, I don't think I want to do this. Like it's fun. I like doing it for fun, but not for work, right? So I was able to do all those things in that environment, but it allowed me to do that, right? And for me, the school environment was also very important, because it was a nice buffer. It was a very, very nice buffer for me, right? Because I'm in school. So, like, I know that I have my degree. If all fails, I can still say, oh, yeah, even though I failed in all these career paths that I explored, I still have a degree to show for it, right? It might sound foolish, but that was what it was for me, right? That was me trying to balance my risk, right? So I was taking a lot of risks, like trying different paths and opening up myself to new experiences. But I also had that foundation of, okay, if this doesn't work, then I have this other thing that I can hold on to. So balanced risks, strategic. It doesn't have to be jumping the shark, jumping the pool of sharks thing. You have to make sure that things are balanced. What time is it? So I'm talking for 46 minutes. Wow, interesting. Okay, so I'm just gonna skip a couple of things, right? But yeah, the environment allowed me to kind of take all the risks possible, right? And it was very, very important for me personally, right? In making all these interesting pivots that I made, right? It was very, very stressful because I had to keep my grades up. Because like if my grades went down like this, like I knew that man, my fallback plan was destroyed, right? So I had a fallback, a very solid fallback plan, and it required me to keep my grades up, but also keep my work performance up. And that was very, very hard to manage. Like I basically had no life, right, in school. I don't remember like all through my, I don't know how many years I went through school. I don't remember having like a nice social life and all those funky things, nothing like that, right? So that was a very big sacrifice that I had to make, right? So I'm sure like now you're like, yeah, where's my environment? Like, what does this have to do with me? Like, what is my environment? How can I find my environment, right? So I already have defined it. But I'm going to say it again, right? So your environment is any surrounding or condition where you can be your best self and where you can work at high efficiency or provoked, right? So I'm most productive at the school environment. When I'm under pressure, it's like crack, but it's true. Like I'm most productive in school environments and under pressure. I know that by myself. So I know that if I want to make a very crazy career pivot, I'm going back to school, right? It doesn't have to be for a very, very massive program. Just like I say that, okay, I did some very, very stupid things this year. I made some jumps to some different career paths. I explored some things, but at least I have this degree to show for it. Like, yeah, I can be like, okay, what did you do this year? I don't have to tell you about my jumps and career path. I just show you, yeah, I was just like trying to get this degree, right? And that works for me, right? For some people, it doesn't have to be a school, right? It can be it can be people out you don't believe in you when people think that man, you're wasting your time, you're useless, or all those kind of funky things. When people say that, or when people try to make you feel like that, right? That can be your environment, and you just use that ginger and use it to do something good. Like leverage that in making your pivots, right? Um. So yeah, like there's a lot of different things. It can be honest, it can be anything, right? And but one thing I learned is that your environment and your passion work hand in hand. So I'm passionate about solving problems and I'm passionate about creating stuff. Um, so I usually explore the best way to test out or achieve my passion while in my environment, right? And so in the school environment, I would try to figure out, okay, how can I do this? How can I solve problems and how can I create stuff, right? And I'm passionate about. I like technology. I liked technology. So I was like, okay, is there a way I can use technology to solve problems and create stuff, right? That's actually how I found UX design, right? Because for me, it's just that's why I tried to explore software engineering to see if I could really build an entire thing myself. I'm like, man, like it's not for everybody. Man, I can't come and kill myself. But yeah, so find your environment. Find that environment where you can actually make that helps you balance out your risk, that helps you make that kind of gives you ginger to make your pivots, right? Or to at least plan for your pivots, right? So your environment does look of things for you, right? So if it's a place, if it's maybe your parents' house, if it's maybe your I don't know, your brother's house, or if it's like maybe I don't know, a different city or something, whatever it is, wherever it is that you work your best unprovoked, maybe it can be fueled by anger, it doesn't have to be happiness. Right? I don't really like being in the school environment, in the confines of a school and carrying backpack. But like I was still there. I stayed there, right? Because it was particularly important for me. It was better for me to in finding out where I would be, figuring out what path that I would go, right? So the easiest way to find your environment is to ask yourself, like just kind of be introspective and ask yourself like, where have I been that I grow fast? Like what makes me grow there? Like what makes me my best in that place, right? And once you figure out those things, you're able to answer those questions. You'll be able to leverage that environment in making your pivots, right? Um, I like to define my own environment as a safe space for me. It's not really a safe space, but it's just a place where I feel like okay, I can put my head down and work, put my head down and explore. I can explore without thinking too much. I can explore without worrying too much. I can explore and I can like find my way back, right? And I have a fallback. There's something I have to fall back on, right? So managing your risks, right? So yeah, what have I learned from making my pivots? I need to round up. I'm talking for a long time. What I've learned, one thing I've learned is that with pivot, no knowledge is a waste, right? Um, maybe it could have been better for me if I did economics. I don't know. But I know that there's a lot of things that I learned along the way that I most likely would not have learned if I had studied economics, right? I know that there's nobody that I can't have a basic conversation with, right? If you're talking sales, I can talk it because I've been there. If you're talking customer service, I can talk it out of there. If you're talking, I don't know, engineering to some extent, I said basic conversation. If you're talking about software engineering to some extent, I can talk it. I've been there, right? Core IT. I've sort of been there, right? Like I've been in that space. So when people are talking about, I can know what they're talking about. I'm not clueless, right? So like, don't feel like your experiences or your accumulation of those experiences, like those experiences that seem like they're unrelated to whatever your next career path is, don't feel like it was all a waste, right? There's always something to lift. There's always something that you can always move there, right? Nothing is a disadvantage, nothing is a liability, right? Nothing is a liability or a disadvantage if you make it, unless you make it so, right? So pick out those things, those two things. It could be one thing, it could be two things, it could be, but it's more than this. Obviously, I would have noticed that it's usually more than that, right? And show, don't think of it as a disadvantage. Use that to express your difference. Use that to make yourself stand out, right? Because there are a lot of software engineers, but what makes you different as a software engineer, right? Why should people care about your software engineering skills and all that funky stuff, right? Because there are like thousands of other people, right? So those kind of things can really help you stand out and help you make a difference, right? So the second thing is baby steps, right? So there's no shortcuts. There's no become become an expert quick scheme, right? It's very annoying, especially in the world, because like people are so quick to judge and everyone wants to be fair. Everything's just so intimidating, right? You want to be an expert. You want people to respect you, you want people to tell you that man, like you're so amazing, you know this amazing stuff, right? But you can't be an expert if you don't understand the basics. Please spend time understanding the basics. Spend time understanding the absolute, like the most basics of basics. For design, for UX design, like what's UX? Where did UX come from? What is the origin of UX? What's the history of UX? Why is UX important? And those things are like very, very stupid, seem very, very stupid, but they're very, very useful because once you have that solid foundation, once you have a solid understanding of whatever field it is that you're in, then you're good to go. You have a solid foundation to build up on, right? And all those things, like you don't forget them, right? And they are always very useful because they come up in conversations, but they come up in conversations in different ways, right? In ways that like you won't think that, oh, like yeah, they come up in conversations in different ways. Let me not dive too deep into that, right? So please spend time understanding all these things, who the major players in your field is, like in the past and also today, right? Spend some time understanding those seemingly boring things, like painful, annoying things. It's like I don't want to spend time understanding these things, but they will help you. They'll help you in the long run, right? Um, the next is also being used for a moment, not just forever, right? So when people tell me that, oh, like they want to start up in design and they're not really sure how to go about that, I tell them to volunteer, right? And with volunteering, like obviously it's free work, right? Volunteer with organizations, volunteer with people that are no better than you, that have been in the field for a while. Work with them, ask to work with them on projects for free and all those things, right? And humans like free work. Humans like to take advantage of other people, right? So they may use you, right? They may like there's a very slight opportunity that they will use you, but and obviously it doesn't. It's not good. It's not right, right? No one should feel that way. But at the end of the day, one thing you need to know is that knowledge is forever, right? The knowledge and experience that you gain from that entire thing is forever. So try and focus on the bright side. You're not going to be there forever, right? So you're learning from them free, something that will help you in the future. I mean, not for free because you're exchanging labor in a way, but you're actually learning something that will help you in the future, something that will help you be better, right? So all these things are very, very important, right? Please don't feel like, oh, people are just using you. Like at the end of the day, like you're the one that will derive the best, like the most advantage or the most benefit from it, right? The next thing is to be teachable. Don't take things too personally. So people feel like they know too much when they've spent like, I don't know, 5 months or 6 months in the field, and people have kind of hyped them up a bit. I'm like, yeah, man, like I'm an expert. I can do start with senior, whatever beside them. And I'm like, don't be so quick to do all those things, right? Um, no matter where you are, no matter what you know, there's always something that you don't know, right? So please remain teachable. And when people give you advice, people criticize your work, right? Don't take it personal, right? People don't know how to separate um work criticisms from like for personal criticisms, right? They're two different things, right? Please, because the day you stop being teachable is the day that you put a cap on your success, and that's on that, right? Period. That's just on that, right? The next thing is don't be too proud to ask for help. No one knows everything, so please don't be scared to ask for help, right? Ask anyone, ask everyone. The ones they can say is no. What they can say is no, you move on to the next person. It's that simple, right? And if they say no, there's Google, there's Quora, there's Reddit, there are other places that you can go to. So please, like, don't be too scared to ask for help. Don't be too proud to ask for help. The next thing is take your time, but also don't die there. I mentioned like taking my time, engaging the tech space, right? Um, if I had stayed any longer, if I'd stayed longer doing that, right, I most likely will not be where I am right now, right? So you need to know when to move. The part of the part of strategy, there's the part of strategy that is knowing. I mean, the core of strategy is knowing when to move, right? So please, like, don't go into that rabbit hole of, okay, I need to know everything. I need to know everything before I move. Once you know the basic and foundational stuff, you move, right? And you learn along the way. So you can't know everything from scratch, right? That's something that I struggled with, right? You can't know everything from start. You need to just gather some small knowledge and then run with that knowledge, right? Over time, you will learn more things get accumulated, right? So please don't spend too much time because you want to make sure that you're making the right decision. And you spend time to get assurance that when you make the pivot, you'll be successful. Like there's no complete assurance, right? There's always going to be uncertainty, and you need to be okay with that, right? Please don't die there. Take your time, but don't die there, right? Right. And there's something very important to note and I round up. There's no limit to the amount of times that you can switch lanes, right? I mean, as an expert lane switcher, I know. But don't be jumping from pillar to post. Don't be hopping on trends. Don't be hopping on what's trending now, right? Um, that's not how to build a career or credibility. Credibility is very important, right? You don't want to be known as the person that just stays in a job for 1 year or 2 years and just leaves, or stays in a role for 1 year or 2 years and just leaves, right? You want to be able to even 1 year or 2 years is even good. For people like me that like to hop a lot, right? I think I the longest I ever stayed in a job before my current job was 6 months, right? 6 months and I'm out to the next thing. 6 months and I'm out to the next thing. And it was cool to gather knowledge and all those funky things. But I was getting to a point that I was going too much. It's like, guy, like I had to question myself, like, guy, you need to stay here. So I had to put in the buffer, right, of a year, right? Also, it's like if it's something that I'm really good at, right, and I care about, then you need to stay in there for at least a year, right? If it's something that you're just good at, but you don't really care about that, maybe 4 months, right? So that was for me personally, right? Because I get bored a lot, right? And I'm always thinking about jumping to the next thing, jumping to the next thing, jumping to the next thing. That time I just like relax, like calm down. Like you can't just be jumping from pillar to post, right? So I've been able to kind of stick to UX, right? Completely for the past maybe 1 Okay, like 2 years ish. Yeah, completely like fully just UX for the past 2 years, right? And I've been jumping within UX. I've been jumping within UX. Yeah, no lie. But that's better than jumping across different paths, jumping from data analysis to product management. That's different. That is way better to be jumping within design, right? Because there you're able to kind of gain knowledge, like a breadth of knowledge in the field, right? So please don't be unwise about, don't be just jumping every 4 months, every 6 months, move on to a new role, every 6 months, move on to a new role or a new career path. Like, please, like the entire point of doing this pivot is to figure out where you can actually stay, right? Like now, I know I'm in tech. There's no way I'm leaving tech. Like me, I know. If there's one thing that me I know is I'm in tech for life, right? So within tech, then maybe I can move around. But I know that I'm going to, I have to tie myself down that I'm still in UX design at least for the next 5 years at least, right? 5 years, and then maybe I look for something else after. But it's still within tech, right? So I mean, please don't just be jumping up and down, right? Please, I'm begging you, please, right? Quickly, these are some of the dumb mistakes I made. I cared too much about titles. I wanted to be a senior something quickly. I wanted people to know that, man, I know stuff, that they call me senior, man. They call me calling me junior. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't intern. Nah. Right. But I got humbled. I got humbled. And what I learned is that title doesn't matter. Right. Like, let your work speak for you, right? It doesn't matter, and it's not important yet. I said yet for a reason, right? When you're starting out, your focus shouldn't be on title. Your focus should be on getting that one opportunity. Your focus should be on getting that one opportunity, getting that one chance, and building your credibility within that space, right? Whatever title they give you, just straight, yeah, it's fine. Just spend at least your first year, right? Still trying to gain some knowledge. Make sure that you're good, especially if you didn't go to school for this field, right? Spend that 1 year or 2 years, like still trying to get your way around, figure your way around things, know what's going on, know all those things. And then after that, you can now start thinking about, okay, maybe it's time for me to now start thinking about seniority and my career path and all those things, right? You start thinking about all those things too early. You need to make sure that you have sufficient knowledge, right, before you actually start jumping, right? So focus more on honing your craft, focus more on becoming better, on knowing more, as opposed to like titles, right? Titles, they don't matter for now, right? The next thing was that I wasn't comfortable not knowing things, right? I like knowing everything, and so that's another thing that I struggled with, right? I like knowing stuff. So when people ask me a question, I didn't know it, I'll just finesse my way around the question, right? I was not comfortable saying, guy, I don't know. Now, if you ask me a question, I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. Like, nobody can intimidate me, right? Because it's okay to not know stuff, right? Not knowing stuff is an opportunity for you to learn. Journey's expertise. Like, I wanted to be an expert quickly, I was stacking up my books, trying to read and read and know everything and everything. By the end of the day, there's only so much that you can know, there's only so much that you can learn, right? So you need to make sure that you're not rushing the journey to expertise, right? You need to make sure that you're taking your time to really know your stuff, know your craft for yourself, right? Because as an expert, you'll be required to help other people. You can't help other people in things that you don't know for yourself, right? So please don't be jumping, right? Relax, right? The journey, you eventually get, right? Just a matter of time, right? Number four is I didn't intentionally seek mentorship. I didn't seek mentorship because I didn't stay in a role for that long. I can't be looking for mentor if I'm staying in a role for 4 months, right? But that's a bad thing. I like looks, but on the side, please look for mentorship. Be very intentional about it, right? Intentional mentorship could have helped me stay in a role for longer than 6 months. It could have, right? Could have really helped me, right? So please look for people that are better than you, that you can actually go and that can really help you in your journey, right? So I want to close out with this quote by Maxwell Maltz. He said, we must we must have the courage to bet on our idea and to take the calculated risk and to act. Every day requires courage if life is to be effective and bring happiness. So yeah, the journey is different for everyone, and so just me sharing my own journey, right? That's something that could help, right? So map out your own journey, figure things out for yourself. Um, make sure that you remember that balance is everything. Balance is everything, right? Please be wise about your pivots. Don't just be jumping around. Don't just chase passion or trends, right? Make sure that whatever it is that you choose aligns with your strengths and your talents, right? Yeah, yeah, that's just it, man. Find something that you care about, something that aligns with your strengths and your talents, and that won't kill you. And with that, come to the end of my talk. I can talk, Sha. But yeah,
Thank you so
like the
much, Dami. Thank you very, very much. That was so good. And I loved your slides, by the way. They were so fun. Um, I have a question here, and it's from somebody that is really, really special. I hope he's still on the call. His name is Dr. Ayodele Shitsu, and he was my lecturer in school. He was my course advisor in school. And so I'm really surprised that he's on the call, but he has a question, so I'm going to ask. Thank you very much, Dr. Shitsu. Um, he says, I've always heard the term calculated risk. Can you explain this term within the context of a young person?
okay. Okay, third. Okay. So hmm, with risk taking, we kind of are just told, just look for a risk and just kind of jump in, look for something that's crazy and just kind of jump in, right? You're not really thinking too much about balancing things out, right? You need to spend time within your context of a young person. I would use career, right? Um, so it's very, very, very interesting. I use career, right? So you're a youth, and then you spend some time in school, and spend some time in school trying to figure things out for yourself. And all those funky stuff was exciting. You came out with a degree, you were excited and everything, right? And now you're thinking of jumping into, I don't know, maybe you came out with like me, you came out with an econ degree. Let me just use my example. You came out with an econ degree, and then you're like, oh, okay, like I think I want to jump into tech, right? And then you're like, yeah, okay, let me see what happens, what exists in tech, what I can do in tech. And you're kind of just there, right? You're trying to figure out how to make that move from economics to tech, right? A normal risk would just be to just jump in, just throw away your econ degree, like not throw it away, but just like put it aside and be like, yeah, that's not important. Let me just go and figure out how to move into tech, how to just change things up, how to. But a more calculated risk would be okay. I'm about to abandon this 4 years that I've spent. Like I spent 4 years doing this econ degree, right? So I'm about to abandon all that and move into a new field where I know nothing and I have to start from scratch. Okay. A calculated risk could be okay. I can work with this econ degree for now while I figure out how to navigate the tech space. Maybe I don't have enough money to things are balanced. You are not straining a source of income. You're not cutting off your source of income. You're not saying, okay, like man, I'm going to be broke. Because I mean an option would just be to just jump into the tech space and just kind of figure out, talk to some people, figure out how to kind of go about moving stuff without really making money for it. Because for that first year or so, you won't make money. Because you're trying to just know things, you're still trying to learn stuff, right? So you don't have money for anything. You don't have money to feed yourself. You don't have money to take care of yourself. You don't have money for anything. You're just there, right? But it's like, okay, let me just be pushing this tech. This tech is going to work. When you have an econ degree that could help you feed yourself, I could even help you save towards getting the tech degree and tech, I don't know, knowledge or whatever, tech boot camp or whatever it is that you want to do, right? So it's really about looking at all your options and being like, okay, I want to take this big risk, but what do I have, right? And yeah, it's about thinking like, what do I have? Like, how can I go about making this thing in a wise way, not just jumping straight up. You don't know if you are strong in tech. You've not tried to sample the tech space because now, what if now you go into the tech space and you notice that, man, maybe you wanted to do software engineering and you're there and you're still struggling with this thing and you figure out that, man, this thing is not for me. You've wasted 6 months, right, of your life, and you've not been making money, you've not doing anything. So now you have to now sit down again and figure out, okay, so now that I know that this software engineering is not for me, what am I going to do next? Now you have to now go about again and now start looking for something else. Maybe I can try design, right? And then you now go to design. You're starting from scratch again. So you're wasting all this time. You're wasting all your resources. Your resources in this space will be time. You're wasting your time, right? That's just it. You're suffering yourself because it's like you're going through, your parents are probably there like, guy, like, why aren't you giving us something? Or why are you still asking us for money? Or why, like, you're an adult, okay, we already sent you to school. Why are you stressing us? Like, why are you stressing us? We're stressing our lives, right? We don't have money for all these things. We have money, your siblings are still there. And I just kind of just like, so it's like, yeah, but it's like, no, I'm taking a risk. I'm trying to, do this thing. I'm trying to just jump into tech. I want to be a tech person. I want to make it in tech. I will eventually make money in tech. I will eventually, and there's no assurance because you could go into the tech field, maybe even learn or not find a job, right? So, but if you're able to kind of balance things out and really ease into things, right? Because now, if you're still working your CSM, your customer service role, and you're jumping into tech, and you probably like you're customer service role on this, and you're still like doing tech on the side, so trying to do things for yourself, balance things out until you get to a good place, right, in tech, right? What Once you get to a good place in tech, wait, I kind of just lost my train of thought there. You're still working your CSM role, and then you're working tech too on the side, right? To figure out if you get to a good place in tech, you're able to get to a place where you're comfortable enough to leave your CSM role, to move and just make the entire shift into tech, right? I mean, I don't know if it makes sense. I feel like I'm not contradicting myself. I'm confusing myself to an extent. But I would say that the calculated risk is just really placing all the options on the table and figuring out, okay, how can I make this smooth? Okay, yes, that's what I'm going to say. So if you make the move to tech now, and that isn't working out for you, like you're not able to find a job in tech, right? Now you're able to think, okay, I can't find a job in tech. Maybe I need to figure out a way to mix both of it together, like mix maybe my economics and tech, right? Look for an opportunity to mix that and then use that to ease into tech, right? Maybe I need to learn an extra skill that could help position me, right? So all those things, because at the end of the day, you're taking the risk of jumping into tech, right? And being rejected by people and not getting a job, but things are still a bit balanced, right? You're able to say, okay, if all fails, at least, I mean, first of all, you spent a lot of time figuring out, counting the cost and doing the math and trying to figure things out. And you're like, okay, if all fails, at least I have this fallback plan, right? People usually will take risks without having a fallback plan, without having anything else, right? There's a place for that, right? But there's a place for that, right? Some people, it works for some people the first time, but for others, they fail and then they are frustrated, right? And they're wondering why things aren't really working out. Sorry, I have a code, I'm really struggling. And they're trying to figure out why things are not working out. But it's because they didn't balance things out. They didn't look at the options on the table. They didn't figure out a more strategic way to make a move. They just thought, okay, I'm going to jump from this one thing to another thing, right? I hope that explains the balance I get into, right? And that one just kind of talking about taking a risk in one area and balancing out by not taking a risk in another area, right? But that's another different thing, right? But I hope I answered the question to some extent. I tend to talk a lot.
Yeah, I think you answered the question. There was another question, I think, but I know we had like a lot of other questions that I sent to you beforehand. Hi, Dami.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But then
I'm still there.
or if we can take like all of it now, because I'm sure like people are tired.
Yeah, it's really long.
Yeah. So maybe we can like answer all of it and put it in an email that I'm going to send to everybody after, so that we still have like everybody's attention, because I feel like I got a lot of value from the session, and I just want to make sure that people are not now tired towards the end.
Right. That's absolutely okay.
Yes. Okay, so we're going to have like a replay of this session on YouTube very soon, in like a couple of days. If you're a subscriber to Wakaru, you should get an email telling you that it's now live. And if you have any additional questions, you can send them to us at wakarumail@gmail.com, or on Twitter, on Instagram, pretty much wherever Wakaru is. You can send us the questions and we'll make sure that Dami gets them. Thank you so much, Dami, for being here. Like, this has been so good. I loved everything about the presentation, I learned a lot about even like advancing within your own career, things about mentorship and not afraid to be a beginner. Especially like around not rushing the journey to expertise, because a lot of people are like, oh my God, I want to be an expert. I want to be a senior XYZ before you've even like properly been junior and all of that. So thank you so much for everything. This was really good. Yes, so everybody please follow us on Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. Yes. Yeah, Opemika says that if you tag us on all of your lessons, we're going to be looking out for them and retweeting. So please do so. Thank you so much, everyone, and good night, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time
So
it
much.
is, wherever you are. Thank you so much, Dami. Yeah.
Thank you so
Bye,
much,
everyone.
everyone. Bye.